Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. And today we're going to be reacting, well, this is my first reaction video, but today we're going to be reacting to Smile Dog Draw My Life. And here we go.
Welcome to a new Draw My Life video. Hey there, TikTokers! We are very happy to celebrate our channel Draw the Life TikTok has reached the 500,000 subscribers. Yup, it's been a year and a half already since we started this project with the video of the twins Lisa and Lena. Since then, we have shared many Draw My Lives of characters, mythology, TV series, curiosities, and a lot of terror with the spooky videos of our Scary Tuesdays. We want to thank you for all your support, comments, and messages sent in love throughout this whole time. You are the best. Without a doubt, we will keep working hard to publish new content. And to celebrate this great achievement, we have prepared a very special video where we will introduce to you two characters we are sure you've seen in many occasions: Tic and Tac. Do you want to know more about their story and how they ended up in our channel? Stay tuned, we will soon reveal the mystery. And thanks again for always being there, we are really touched. So, before we get too emotional, here is a new terrifying video. Hope you enjoy it. The first time I met Mary in person was in the summer of 2007. Her husband Terrence set the date up. In the beginning, Mary agreed. I was just an experienced writer searching for ideas for a novel. When I got to their house, I couldn't see Mary. She had locked herself up in her room. Terrence and I stood in front of the room's door. She talked and I took notes. Even though I couldn't see her, I knew she was crying. Mary talked without making any sense about her horrible nightmares. I decided to leave. I didn't want to bother her. Her story was very tough. In 1992, she was working as a software developer for an important company. That was the year she found the image Smile.jpg, and her life changed forever. Mary was one of the 400 people that saw the picture, but she was the only one who talked openly about the experience. After the event, she could barely leave her house and she had to quit her job. It was in 2005 that I found out about the existence of this picture through internet forums that talked about paranormal cases. Lots of people knew Smile.dog existed, the creature that supposedly appeared in the Smile.jpg picture. Mary was the most mentioned victim in all conversations. The other people affected have remained anonymous. Or maybe they disappeared. Actually, there was no credible information. All the phenomenon was focused on a picture that can't be found anywhere. Though there were many imitations and fake copies around in forums and through chain emails. Witnesses stated that once you see it, you suffer immediately a sudden epilepsy attack and a severe anxiety. All the supposed victims gave the same description of the picture: a creature that looked like a husky in a dark room lit only by the flash of the camera. The only detail they could see clearly in the background is a human hand. The hand isn't holding anything, but it seems alive. The dog has shiny eyes and a big gloomy smile, showing 2 rows of teeth, very white, very straight, very perfect. When you see it, you suffer an epileptic attack and you never forget it. The dog comes to the dreams of the victims that have seen the original picture until their final days. After the failed interview with Mary, I decided to keep researching, but everything led me to a dead-end street. A year after, I received an email from Mary that got me totally by surprise. I'm sorry about my behavior last summer. See, I've had nightmares about a Smile.dog every night for 15 years. I know this might sound absurd, but it is the truth. In my dream, I can't move. I can't talk. I only look in front of me, and the only thing I see is that scene in the picture. I see that hand, and I see that dog. He tells me something. He tells me I have to share his word, show his picture. I didn't understand it. Where was I to get it from? Soon after, I got a floppy disk in a mysterious package. I didn't need to see what was inside. I already knew. I considered my options carefully. Who should I show it to? If that Smile.dog was faithful to his word, I would sleep peacefully again. But at what price? What would the consequences be for those people that saw it? I decided not to do anything. For 15 years, I hid the floppy disk. All these years, Smile.dog invaded my dreams. I ignored it. I ignored his request, and it's been a torture. When we set up the interview, I thought about giving you the floppy disk. I didn't know you, and you were so desperate to know more about Smile.dog. But I saw you arrive through the window, and I couldn't. I locked myself up in my room. I don't want anyone to suffer as I'm suffering. Please, stop your research before it's too late. Sincerely, Mary. Mary died not long after I received that email. I talked to Terrence, her husband, and he told me he had burned the floppy disk. He said that while it was melted, it sounded as if it was growling, as an animal. I have to admit, I wasn't very sure how to react to all this. In the beginning, I thought it could be a practical joke, but just in case, I decided to stop my research. Soon after, I received another email. Hi, I found your emails in forums about the Smile Dog. I saw it, and it's not as bad as people say. Here's a copy. Spread the word. I was paralyzed. I felt I was going to pass out. The email came with a document attached, of course, named smile.jpg. I thought about downloading it. It was probably a fake picture. And even if it was true, how was it even possible that a simple picture could cause a curse? I really wanted to see it. I'd been searching for it for so long. If I saw it, I would know how to get rid of the dog. I thought that if I made a video about a Smile.dog, I could use the picture as evidence. Anybody who saw the video could see the forbidden picture. But assuming the picture is authentic, was I really gonna risk all those lives only to save myself? Could I do such a thing? Yes, I could. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See?
Whoa. That was 7 minutes long. I thought that was 20 minutes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that part of the video. Now we're gonna move on to another one. Okay, everyone, this one is the Secrets of Area 51, and now we are going to get into the video. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll do one more after this one. Let's get in.
Welcome to a new Draw My Life video. Hey there, TikTokers, and welcome to a new Scary Tuesday. Are you ready to go into one of the most mysterious places in this planet? Hold on tight, because we're entering the world of Area 51. Area 51, also known as Groom Lake or Homey Airport, is a military base built in 1955 in the south of Nevada, in the U.S. It is a U.S. Air Force testing area, though the government never really explained what those tests are about exactly. Their main objective is uncertain, and it's classified as top secret. Access is restricted to the public, and around the area there are armed guards patrolling and watching the perimeter. It is also forbidden to fly over the area without permission. The routes to get there are long and full of warning signs to dissuade visitors. This secrecy has turned Area 51 into a place of great interest, especially for conspiracy theorists, who have even related it to the UFO phenomenon. Specifically, after several unofficial reports speculating about the facilities hosting bodies of aliens. The incident that led to all these theories has its origin in the city of Roswell, state of New Mexico. On July 2nd, 1947, a farmer found the remains of an aircraft with the shape of a flying saucer on his ranch, and he reported this to the local sheriff. Not long after, a newspaper published the news. The U.S. forces rapidly denied the event was real and explained it was just a weather balloon of theirs. This event raised a huge interest, and several groups of ufologists started to spread different conspiracy theories. But the Roswell incident lost protagonism as time went by. until 1978, when the researchers Stanton C. Friedman and William L. Moore restarted the mystery. After studying several testimonies, they came to the conclusion that it had been an alien incident. And they gained credibility when the Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell said that thanks to his contacts in the top-level government, he had the confirmation that it was true. One of the hypotheses suggests that after the collision of the U.S. Forces device, they captured several aliens and carried out autopsies on them while they were still alive. Another very relevant event took place in 1989 when Bob Lazar, a supposed employee in Area 51, was interviewed on TV to talk about his job as an engineer there. He said he had seen up to 9 flying saucers and the bodies of several aliens, and also that after revealing this secret, he had been threatened with death. But without a doubt, the weirdest thing related to Area 51 is the project known as Abigail. After World War II, one of the most famous scientists in there, Albert Wester, decided to start a new research. It consisted in experimenting on human beings with the aim to improve them and provide them with exceptional abilities. Due to the high risk this implied, nobody volunteered. And as the experiment had to be done on really reliable people so they wouldn't give any information to the enemy, Wester decided to use his own daughter as his lab rat. Her name was Abigail, a student in college who started to have all kinds of experiments done to her body, with terrible consequences. Her physical appearance changed drastically. Her skin was wrinkling and tearing, her teeth were growing out of control, and her height increased enormously. Everybody asked Albert to quit this experiment, but he refused. And not because of any crazy ambition, but because he knew if he stopped, his daughter would die. She needed all the substances he was giving her. The testimonies of people working on the project were really scary. The cooks assured they were making huge amounts of food they would take to a big cage where they saw Wester a lot talking to his daughter. But Abigail wasn't the same young lady that had walked in. She was a monster now, with no traces of humanity. 2 years later, with no results and really desperate, Albert killed himself. He left a note asking them not to kill her, begging them to bring her back to normal. The ones in charge decided not to feed her anymore, so the monster would end up dying, and so they would get rid of the problem. Many said that on the first night, they heard cries and strong scratches around the facilities. One day, the alarms went on, and they realized that the creature had left its cage. At some point, she attacked several workers who had tried to defend themselves opening fire, with no results. After the death of several operators, they decided to lock that section in Area 51 and hide that dark experiment nobody should ever heard of, under any circumstances. We might never know the truth. It might all be people's lies and inventions, obsessed with conspiracies. Or maybe the strange creatures in Area 51 managed to escape and we find them, one day, face to face. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to...
Whoa. That was creepy. Honestly, that was very creepy. So I'm going to do one more. And you know what? Let's do this one. It Draw My Life. I really wanted to see this for a long time. And I'll skip this
Hey,
episode.
Quincy, is it okay if I have my protein?
No, this is
You
fine.
don't even lift, buddy, so I'm going to take it. Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I take my deodorant and stick my arm? Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I get my key? I'm going to be late for work. Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I take one of my socks, please? You don't pay for these. I do, and you've been sitting in them all day, so I'm going to take it right now. Come on, please. Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I have the toilet paper, please? Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I have my blanket, please? I'm really cold, so I need my blanket. Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I grab my lottery ticket? I think it's a winner, so I'm going... Hey, Quincy, is it okay if I just grab this book right here? Now, you'll be nice, because it says how to be a gentleman, so you'll be nice. Get him!
it. Here we go.
Welcome to a new Draw My Life video. Welcome to a new Scary Tuesday TikTokers. For the most part, clowns are happy and fun characters ready to make us laugh. But there are some that cause real terror. You probably have an image in your mind right now. It. This horrible character was born from the twisted mind of the writer Stephen King, and later on made it to the big screen, becoming the greatest box office horror movie of all times. But do you know about its origin and true story? Get ready to find out. And don't worry if you haven't seen the movie yet, being without a well-defined appearance.
So I think I heard the backstory of it before. I think it was like said that it came from a different planet, then a meteor crash, and then a chunk of that planet came off, and then it crashed here. And then that's how Area 51 was created, and blah 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 and stuff. So yeah, that's what I heard. And without further ado, let's continue.
At least its original appearance has never been seen. It usually takes the shape of the fears that terrorize its victims the most, their deepest nightmares, in order to subdue them. Though its most common outfit is that of a dancing clown called Pennywise. It wears a light dress with buttons. Its face is painted white with a red-haired crown around its head. It usually wears white gloves, as well as a bunch of balloons on its hand. Its sense of humor is quite peculiar. It laughs and tells grotesque jokes. And in its most horrific form, a row of yellow teeth appears inside its mouth. But it is a lot more than an evil clown. Its origin goes back to even before the creation of our own universe. It is a being that comes from a place called Macroverse, a dimensional plane that covers everything there is. So big that compared to it, our world is nothing but a small dot. It would be a kind of a representation of madness and evil in themselves, hence the way we refer to it. It came to this world inside a meteorite during prehistory, landing in a remote place in the US. The exact place where centuries later the town of Derry would be built, where the story takes place. When the first settlers started colonizing and building the area around the year 1740, it woke up with an insatiable hunger, and it could only satisfy it by eating human beings. He took the lives of around 300 settlers, and once he was satisfied, it went back to rest again, starting a hibernation cycle that starts again every 27 years. Every time it wakes up, a terrible wave of violence starts, which have left several tragic events in the history of this town. In 1851, a father of a family, under the influence of it, went mad and poisoned all his family, and then committed suicide. 27 years later, the corpses of a group of woodcutters were found massacred on the riverbank. The next time it woke up, two of the worst tragedies ever in the town took place. In 1904, a woodcutter killed with his axe all clients inside a bar. And before hibernating again, a local foundry suddenly exploded, causing 240 deaths. 200 of them were kids who were there looking for Easter eggs, as it was Easter at the time. On its next round, during the late 20s, a violent mob of people massacred a band of local criminals by shooting at them. And another group of racist people burned down a nightclub frequented by Afro-Americans, leaving several victims behind. It not only enjoys scaring its victims, adopting the shape of their worst nightmares and then killing and eating them up. Sometimes it also manipulates their minds so they become violent and hate each other, provoking waves of destruction. It hides in the underground sewers of the city, where it moves as it pleases and where it sometimes takes its victims' bodies. There, it also adopts one of its most common shapes, a giant spider, the closest to its physical appearance that the human mind can comprehend. Because its original form is that of deadlights, a shapeless mass with orange lights that come from the Macroverse. By just looking at them, one will die or become crazy instantly. Sometimes, even with its physical shape, those lights appear in its eyes, so nobody should look at it directly in the eyes. For many centuries, it did his own thing, freely, around Derry, playing with the minds of humans and believing it was invincible. Until one day, it found a group of teenagers that made it realize about something. By transforming into its victims' fears, sometimes it automatically or involuntarily adopts their weaknesses as well, being subject to their limitations. This means not only that it is vulnerable and can be harmed, but also that it can be finished off. For the first time in its existence, it felt the fear of dying, which increased its hate towards these teenagers, and it became obsessed with ending their lives. Will these simple guys be able to confront this evil being? Or will it be successful once again, leaving a trail of blood and chaos around it? You'll have to find that out yourselves, Tic-Tackers. Do you like clown stories?
Whoa!
If you enjoyed this video,
Phooey! That was scary, the ending, and like Jesus, all those poor people, like kids. Kids are the future. Why do people love them getting killed in their movies? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Yahoo!